Good morning and welcome to the Navy Supply Corps School's Basic Qualification Course, 4th Battalion, and Basic Qualification Course, Navy Reserve 108th Company's graduation ceremony. Please stand for the arrival of the official party, the playing of the national anthem, and the invocation. Navy Supply Corps School, arriving. Vice Admiral, United States Navy, arriving. Color Guard, parade the colors.
Colors, forward, march! Colors, hold! Colors, present arms!
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Colors, order, arms!
Color Guard, retire the colors.
Colors, right, face! Forward, march!
Side boys, post.
Both side boys eye. Side boys, left or right, face. Forward, march.
Chaplain 4 will now offer the invocation.
Let us pray. Sovereign God, we gather in this moment with reverent awe and warrior's resolve as these exceptional servants of the United States Navy Supply Corps stand at the summit of their transformation, not merely as technicians of logistics, but as the circulatory system of our nation's naval dominance, the essential artisans who convert raw resources into operational supremacy and strategic possibility into combat power. Father, as they have completed this demanding odyssey, infuse within them an insatiable hunger to redefine what excellence means. Equip them with the surgical precision of a master shipwright, the granite-like perseverance of a storm-tested mariner, and the revolutionary thinking that has distinguished our supply corps as the world's premier logistical force across more than 200 years of service. And through your guiding hand, shape these graduates into the anchors that secure our fleet's capability, and let their vision be prophetic, their actions be thunderous, and their allegiance to the mission unbreakable. May they elevate our storied tradition as the Navy's logistical vanguard, the guardians who ensure that every vessel, every aircrew, every expeditionary force possesses the means to prevail at every hour, across every ocean, facing every threat, prepared to sustain, prepared to dominate, and prepared to win. These things we pray. Amen.
Military, uncover 2. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce the commanding officer of the Navy Supply Corps School, Captain Richie Jenkins.
Good morning, everyone. It's a beautiful Newport day. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah to everyone, family, obviously the 80 students that we're going to honor here today. And we're so glad that you took the time to celebrate with us this significant milestone where 80 logistics professionals are going to enter the fleet and go do their jobs and do it very well. I want to first thank our MC, Lieutenant Rivera, for a job well done. You still got some work ahead of you.
Yes, sir.
But I know you're up to the task. I would like to welcome you to the Vice Admiral Kenneth R. Wheeler Supply Corps School. This is where we've called home since 2011. And that's a very brief stint in our community's history, as we're a community that's over 230 years old. Ever since the Navy has put ships to sea, those ships have needed to be resupplied, refueled, rearmed through all corners of the world. And these professionals are going to go do that once they complete the ceremony today. This is 4th Battalion Basic Qualification Course, and it's also the 108th Company of the Basic Qualification Course, Naval Reserve, and today we will certify you ready for sea. I would like to thank several folks who are instrumental in this ceremony. Chaplain 4, I think you just made volume 2 of the Logistician's Prayer. Thank you for that. It is needed. The Color Guard, that did a fantastic job parading the colors. BM2 DeFore, who's our bosun's mate, faithful servant, comes up from Groton every graduation and does a very good job for us. And what is probably the most tangible naval traditions you can hear, and that's the bosun's pipe. The working party from 1st Battalion. You mind standing up for those folks that were back there helping? Yeah, go ahead. Round of applause. And there's others that helped set up the ceremony and do a lot of the behind the scenes to make this day very special. Our students who are also awaiting instructions as well. Thank you for all the support. I'd also like to recognize some long-standing partners who are here with us today, are faithful each graduation. They represent some fantastic organizations. Dean Robert Winnig from the Military Officers Association of America. Thanks for all MOA does to represent the veterans and our causes to our Congress. and to preserve those well-deserved benefits. Thank you for the MOA organization. Mr. Walt Wazowski, representing the Newport chapter of the Navy League. The Navy League is a fantastic organization, represents the sea services, Navy, Marine Corps, Coast Guard, and a lot of things throughout our country and our world. It's a historical organization. Mr. Charlie Mitchell from National Industries from the Blind, been a long-standing partner with us, and Jim Bean as well is here with him. And you'll hear a little bit more about how special that they really are and how the Supply Corps interfaces with the National Industries for the Blind. And Captain Retired John Steen from the Navy Supply Corps Foundation, one of our own, another fantastic organization that really looks out to serve those that have worn the oak leaf, the service members and their families. Very proud organization that wants to give back, and they do great things for us every day. Also here with us is Rear Admiral, recently retired Rear Admiral Patrick Hayden. This time a year ago, Admiral Hayden was the guest speaker for 4th Battalion. We were commenting on how fast the last year has gone. It just seems like it was yesterday he was here. And he is here. We're going to honor him right after this ceremony, and if you have a minute to stick around, we'll be doing it in the library. He recently retired from being the Director of Maritime Headquarters at Naval Forces Europe and Naval Forces Africa. Obviously an area and part of the world that has seen conflict recently. So his perspective is broad, and he's one of the strategic thinkers in our community. And to commemorate his service, his fellow flags have established a small library for him that will stay here at the Supply Corps School. So we're going to dedicate that right after this ceremony. So Admiral, thanks for being here today. For the families, my wife Taffy and I would like to welcome all of you. Thanks for taking the time. Some of you have traveled long and far to be here, and we simply could not do this without your love and your support. I truly can't say that enough. We can't say that enough. What you've done to allow us to be able to do this, and what you do at the home front allows us to continue to serve and serve well. For the veterans in the group and those that are family members, if you are able, do you mind standing if you've served before? Please give these people a round of applause. Paul? I was actually talking to Mr. Paul Patton here on the front row this morning. Vietnam veteran, 3 tours in Vietnam, grandfather of one of our students. And of course, all of you, we're inspired. Your service has inspired us. Thank you for what you have done in your service. We truly are grateful for that. We meet once a week for quarters where all of us recite the Sailor's Creed together in this room. And one of the lines in the Sailor's Creed is, those that have gone before us to defend freedom and democracy around the world. We're inspired by you, so thank you for your service and thank you for being here today. Our mission here at the Navy Supply Corps School is simple and straightforward, although we like to say the art of logistics is never simple. And that's who we've trained and what we're training these professionals to go do. Our mission is to develop Supply Corps officers and logisticians ready to lead, fight, and win in the maritime domain. Every day our Navy depends on these officers and the enlisted personnel that support them to perform the duties effectively, employing the knowledge, skills, and abilities that they have begun to develop over the last 6 months and a year and a half, to include the Naval Reserve, in establishing themselves, equipping themselves with the knowledge they're going to need to be successful. Learning is a lifetime endeavor. We have a phrase, our staff is, to be a leader, you need to be a learner and a reader. And they have established that and are continuing to establish that as they come up through the ranks. And we're inspired by Admiral Hayden, who's a reader and a learner. We emphasize logistics effectiveness, given the increased threats we face today, whether it be in the Red Sea, the Eastern Med, the High North, the Caribbean, and most definitely in the Western Pacific, as we stare down peer adversaries who are looking to replace us as the preeminent naval force, but we're not going to let that happen. I assure you the officers graduating today are ready to lead, fight, and win if necessary. I'm extremely proud of our staff. We have a small staff, and I would like for them to stand and be recognized at this time. Preparing, developing, motivating, and inspiring officers, students, many of which who have been civilians 6, 8 months ago are now wearing the uniform proudly. It takes a complete team to be able to develop, train, and put students through this schoolhouse. The entire staff plays a role from administrative to support to public affairs to student support to our cadre of instructors. And of course, in this day and age, we can't do it without IT support as well. Comprehensive team effort to be able to process students, make sure that they come to work every day ready to learn, and they're in an environment that supports them and their goals they're trying to achieve here today. So please join me in a round of applause for the Navy Supply Corps School staff. Thank you all. And I will say, this has been a hard year. We have 15 civilians that were furloughed because of the lapse in appropriations and the government shutdown. And if you really want to learn how instrumental those 15 civilians are to our mission, go 40 days without them. It's painful. So we're glad to have them back, and so glad it looks like the defense bill is working its way through Congress. And we won't have to do that again anytime soon, hopefully. Right now, I'd like to introduce our special guest speaker, someone who's I've known for quite a while and who has mentored me. We've served together on occasion throughout our time together in my 26 years and Vice Admiral English's 30-plus years in service. He is in an elite group, needless to say. Our community is quite small compared to the larger Navy, and he is only the 21st Supply Corps officer to ever achieve the rank of Vice Admiral, which is quite an honor. And you can see all the pictures down on the first deck as you enter the building of all the previous Vice Admirals that have worn the oak leaf. And he's currently right at the table with the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, serving as the director for logistics on the Joint Staff. A staff that is one of the most professional experiences I've ever had, that is in direct support of the chairman's #1 mission, and that is to advise the President of the United States and the National Security Council on what we do. Director of Logistics, he also, and other flag assignments have included where we served together most recently out in the Pacific. He was at U.S. Pacific Fleet Headquarters in Honolulu, while I was in the Western Pacific. It's in Singapore. We worked very closely together. Our teams worked closely together. He was also Director of the Logistics Division, N4L, on the Chief of Naval Operations Staff in the Pentagon. He commanded at several places throughout. Explosive Ordnance Disposal Support Unit 1. He also commanded Nav Subfleet Logistics Center, Sigonella, over in Sicily. He is a leader who's demonstrated tremendous range. You can read his bio and see all the places and locations and commands in which he served. Afloat, he served on USS Scott, USS Essex, USS San Diego, and USS Barry. That is how you diversify and demonstrate range as a Supply Corps officer. Also served as supervisor of shipbuilding in Norfolk Naval Shipyard, Newport News Naval Shipyard, Also at Defense Supply Center, Columbus, and also out in the pacing theater, priority theater, out in the Pacific at U.S. Pacific Fleet Headquarters a previous time. And also, he's been guiding me a little bit in the job that I'll be going into next as Director of Supply Corps Detailing in Millington, Tennessee. He was giving me a lot of great advice as he's held that job down as well. So it's great. It's a great honor and a great privilege to have Vice Admiral English speak to you today. Please join me in welcoming him to the podium for his remarks. Thank you.
Hey everybody, thank you for having me here today. After that introduction from Richie and the prayer and the singing and the color guard and the hands that put this together, I promise you, it's going to be all downhill from the time that I started talking. It's incredible to be here amongst family and friends and distinguished guests. And one of my old War College professors is sitting over there, so he's still grading my homework after all of these years. But I'm honored and incredibly humbled to be here to participate in the graduation of 4th BAT. And so I'll get started. I prepared some remarks. Some of them you heard yesterday, but I want to make sure that, you know, in my opportunity to talk to you right before you get out to head to the fleet, we understand, one, how much we appreciate and how much we value you, but also the things that you can put in your toolkit to take with you as you move forward. And so, as I said earlier, it's good to be here amongst a group of professionals, particularly in the line of work that we do, who understand that victory does not start with the pull of a trigger. It starts with quiet professionals and a working supply chain. And if we do it right, that supply chain becomes the kill chain that we need. You have officially, graduates, joined one of the world's oldest and sometimes most undervalued of warfighting professions. When everything goes right, no one really remembers who did it. When everything goes wrong, everybody remembers your name. So, welcome to the Supply Corps. It's funny, I mentioned yesterday when we were talking that I was in 4th Battalion Golf Company 32 years ago, sitting right where you sat, and I know exactly what you're thinking because I was thinking it. I really wish that dude who's up there talking would shut up so I can go home and finish packing and make my way down to Norfolk. So I'm gonna try to get through this as fast as I can. But I had no idea or no clue that 32 years later, I would be standing here. And it has been through a successive series of events that included people who have mentored me, who have made my life easier, who's corrected me when I was wrong, and the network of folks that we have inside our Supply Corps that makes being a member of this community special. But make no mistake, you have a point and you have a purpose. Your why is readiness. That's it. The whole job, readiness. In those 32 years since I sat here, I can sum it up. I've always had to answer one question. One question. Where's my stuff? And that can take on a myriad of complexity, but it's the essential thing to our success as Supply Corps officers. And that stuff has a range of things. It has a range of services. It has a range of capabilities. It has a range of people. But it's your job to find those things and get them to point of need often before it's needed. So everything else we use, systems, spreadsheets, funding lines, is really just a scaffolding for our most important job. It's making our fleet ready, and it's keeping it ready. Readiness isn't abstract. It's a pilot who launches because his parts arrived on time. It's a Marine with a full magazine of rounds because we forecasted right. It's a ship's crew that's paid and fed. It's a radar system that's open and operational at the most critical time of a mission. And because of us, the ship experiences success. That's power. It's quiet, it's indispensable, but it's power. And it's the backbone of what we do. The Navy's always been a logistics story. From John Paul Jones begging Congress for powder and sailcloth, to Tench Francis Jr., the first purveyor of public supplies for the original 6 frigates, to Admiral Nimitz, juggling the Pacific's floating warehouses at Ulithi. I should know how to say it. I've said it 100 times. To today's Pacific that's full of denied nodes and cyber disruptions. Every war we ever fought was won because we were able to sustain longer than the adversary. Here's the secret. Logistics isn't just about the movement. It isn't just about the money. It isn't just about the parts or the thing. It's about imagination. Because when the shooting starts, the most valuable commodity isn't fuel or munitions. It's creativity under pressure. We recently had the 12-day war, and we learned some things, the 12-day war between Israel and Iran. What we saw was a carrier strike group who deployed with almost no warning. No scripted log plan, no prepositioned miracles like we do in exercises, right? What happens next wasn't magic. It was the supply corps. It was people like you who built the sustainment hub under fire, who turned chaos into coordination. We proved effectively almost every day of our existence that logistics is not a back office function. It's the front line of deterrence. The 12-day war was short, but it exposed something that's lasting, and that readiness is not built in crisis. It's built before crisis. Every inspection, every audit, every late night inventory when no one is looking is building readiness. Wars are won before the first shot is ever fired. If you don't believe me, I can quote a couple old dead guys now who were pretty successful military leaders who reminded us that. So German Field Marshal Erwin Rommel said, "The battle is fought and decided by the quartermasters long before the shooting begins." British Field Marshal Bernard Montgomery said, "During World War II, 80% of our problems were of a logistics nature." And then y'all have, everybody remembers what Admiral King said is on the wall in there. He said, "I don't know what the hell that logistics stuff is, but I want some of it." And when people acknowledge the importance of where we are and what we do, it should acknowledge to you the significance of the responsibility that you're taking on. It's very simple. It's very simple. And we saw the example in what Captain Jenkins said about Admiral Hayden. Supply Corps officers are warfighters. Make no mistake, the Director of Maritime Operations in the 6th Fleet and in the Europe and Africa AOR is a warfighting function. And we had a logistician doing a warfighting function. So supply officers are warfighters, and logistics is definitely a warfighting function. So let's be honest. Ours is a difficult, more noble calling. We fight wars armed with rash sorties, with spreadsheets, with fork trucks, with fuel tanks, with phone calls, with emails. The list goes on and on. Sometimes they even give us a weapon. When I see a supply corps officer with a weapon, I give them a lot of room and a lot of space. But most of the time, we have it and we know what to do with it, right? We're equal parts economists, engineer, therapists, and magicians. While others talk about warfighting domains, make no mistake, logistics is the bloodstream that connects them all. Without fuel, the Air Force is just the force. Without food, the Army is just angry. An army travels on its belly. You know, that's the old saying. And without you, ships don't float and planes don't fly. Our world runs on precision, discipline, and trust. Those are your weapons. Use them with intent. Now I have a few lessons learned. They're not commandments, but it was just stuff that I learned along the way from my journey 32 years ago here at this point. And it usually came through getting some things wrong, probably more things wrong than I got right. But it's just lessons, and it's things that I think would help you all today. First, master your craft. You all are entering a Navy that's transforming faster than at any other point in our lifetimes. AI is rewriting demand forecasting. 3D printing is changing the way we manage our inventories. Distributed maritime operation means we must be flexible in our approach to sustain the force. Traditional methods at times may not work. And rest assured, while technology is great, technology alone will not save us. Competence will. So master your craft. Be the officer who knows the system so well that you could break it, but then you could also rebuild it while you're blindfolded. Also, understand your audience and understand your advice. Become a subject matter expert. And so we all know self-proclaimed subject matter experts who can tell you everything that happened in the past. And they appear to be subject matter experts, but I don't think they are. That's nostalgia. I think they're closer to being a historian than they actually are to being subject matter experts. A subject matter expert is someone who has the knowledge of what's been done in the past, but they can take it and use it to address the changing environment, the current environment, and the things that we need to guide our organizations into the future. So be that person. Know and understand what it is you're supposed to do. Know and understand your boss's job, and then execute. One of the things that I remind myself of often is challenge the status quo. Sometimes it's good, sometimes we're doing things because that's how we always used to do it. In my office for the last few years, I have written on my board, tacitly embracing the status quo places you squarely on the road to irrelevance. And we see it time and time again. It would be like me employing the stuff that I learned when I was here 32 years ago to the Navy and the fleet that we have today. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't work. Understand your environment. Pick your head up and recognize when things are changing. True mastery means understanding what must come next. As management guru Peter Drucker said, the greatest danger in times of turbulence is not the turbulence itself, but it's acting with yesterday's logic. Please don't act with yesterday's logic. Jack Welch, the famous CEO and head of GE, often said, if the rate of change outside your organization is greater than the rate of change inside your organization, you're going to be in trouble. And that doesn't mean change just for the sake of change or change to be different. You're looking at ways that your current processes and the things that you're doing are no longer relevant. And you have a duty as a leader, you have a duty as a supply corps officer to change those. The second thing is discipline beats motivation. Motivation fades, but discipline endures. There will be days when you're tired, when your sailors are frustrated, when the ship's schedule changes again and again. Matter of fact, when you have to surf and turf when you're coming back into port, there's a high likelihood that you ain't coming back into port. So just remember, one, always have that on hand, but two, be able to anticipate when things are getting ready to change. And when they do what you need to do anyway. Do it right and do it every time. Motivation is a spark. It's powerful and fleeting. It's the initial burst of I can. But motivation will only get you so far. It's discipline that's the engine. The habit of excellence is built over time to overcome whatever obstacles are placed in our way. And when everything feels like it's on fire, remember this: supply corps officers don't panic. We figure it out. We remove the emotion and we work the problems. I just had to do that this morning. I was getting up and putting my uniform together, and I realized at 6 o'clock this morning, I packed everything for today except the black socks that go with this uniform. And so I had a choice. I had some really dark gray socks that I probably could have used and said, maybe nobody would notice, but then I realized when I sit down right there, you would see my socks. And I was like, well, do I want to be remembered for what I said today, or do I want to be remembered as the old dude standing on the stage that had gray socks with his navy blue uniform? And so I figured out what I needed to do. So I got up and I walked to Walmart, bought some socks, and came back. I could have done a lot of things. I could have called Captain Jenkins and said, hey, can I borrow some socks? Or I could have called Commander Fusilier, those people I know here. Can I borrow some socks? But then I would have been making my problem somebody else's problem. And so as I worked through what the option was, it was like, hey, don't panic, just go solve the problem. Plus I was trying to get our exercise in the day, and that really kind of forced me to do it as I had to walk up there in the cold. So the third is guard your professional reputation. Treat your signature and your name as your weapon system. Your word is your ammunition. In the chaos of operations, the most valuable thing you own is your credibility. When people trust you, they will follow you through anything. When they don't, no amount of rank is going to save you. In this business, character and integrity aren't just talking points. They're everything. They are the main thing. Years ago, I was listening to a sermon, and the preacher said, if you have integrity, nothing else matters. If you don't have integrity, nothing else matters. Now, I was giving him credit for it, but I think actually Senator Alan Simpson said it. But the saying still resonates. Your integrity is tied to your professional reputation. Don't lose either one. Matter of fact, you should spend a lot of time trying to build it. Fourth, no one fights alone. Logistics is a relay race, it's not a sprint. Every requisition that leaves your desk touches 1,000 hands. The civilian mariners, the port operators, the industry partners, the airlift crews, every one of them matters. You will make mistakes. You will make mistakes. Everyone does. Everyone does. I think I've given you all 3 examples over the last 2 days. Chocolate milk, ATM, Black Sox, right? And that's me. And I'm supposed to be pretty good at my job. And the thing is, when you do, it's not the mistake itself. It's how you respond to it. So don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to share credit. And definitely don't be afraid to share, to pay it forward. Because someone may help you today in order for you to help someone else tomorrow. The strength of this community is the web of trust that binds us together. Protect that web. It will save your career and maybe somebody else's life. We were talking earlier about President Harry S. Truman. And he has a favorite saying I think everybody knows, but it's not that one. He actually said something really something better. And it says it's amazing what you can accomplish when you don't care who gets the credit. And so as you pursue your career, take that attitude. You know, it's not about you, it's about the team. It's about team wins. And if you don't care who gets the credit, you can accomplish almost anything. If you go in the chairman's office right now, there's a thing on his desk that says that. So you're logisticians, yes, but you're warfighters first. Never forget that you're in the fight. The difference between a Navy that can surge and a Navy that talks about surging is you. Is you. So instead of talking about it, we need to be about it. So as you get out there in your attitude toward doing your job, whether you're counting inventories, whether you're feeding sailors, whether you are chasing down lost laundry for the CO who may or may not be mad because you have done something to his uniform, all of those things are important. And remember, it contributes to the overall fight. As the chairman says, we must be properly armed, we must be globally integrated, and we must be always ready. That's the essence of deterrence. And deterrence begins with logistics and what we do. So now, as I get ready to close, those are the favorite words of the speech, but I still have a couple more minutes, about an hour or so, and then we'll wrap it up. Well, you let me get personal. My time in uniform is nearing its end. Soon someone else will wear this rank. They will address this crowd, and they will bear this responsibility. That's as it should be. That's just the natural order of things. No one commands time, but the one thing that we do command is influence. So as you move forward, remember, what we leave behind is none of our medals, none of our evals, none of our accomplishments. It's the sailors that we train. It's the systems that we fixed, and it's the culture that we improve. There's an old saying that says, wise men, and I always put in parentheses women, plant seeds for trees whose shade that they will never see. That's what legacy is. If you want to leave a mark, leave the Navy better than you found it. Make it sharper, make it faster, make it fairer, make it smarter. Build systems that work when you're gone. because the truest test of leadership is really what happens after you leave the room. So we live in a time when logistics is truly being recognized as strategy. Our adversaries know it. They're targeting our supply chains, our energy networks, our rare earths, our data cables, and they understand that victory belongs not to the best shot, but to the best sustained shot. The next conflict will not give us 6 months to spool up. It will be decided by who was ready yesterday. So innovate relentlessly, take risk intelligently, challenge bureaucracy ruthlessly. You have permission to change the system as long as you make it better. So today, as we celebrate the achievements of our graduates, we must also recognize the unwavering support of their families, their loved ones, their friends, everyone who serves as their support system. I want to thank you all for being here. But please understand that we're going to need y'all a little while longer, because behind every late night study session, every challenge that's overcome, every milestone that reached, there are those who stood by our sides, those who offer us encouragement, those who offer us understanding and strength when nobody else will. Your sacrifices, your patience, and your belief in us have been the foundation on which everyone's success in this room is built on. This moment of triumph is not the end, but it's the beginning. It's the beginning of a journey that I think you all are going to find exciting to be on. And as these graduates step into their roles as leaders and as logisticians, they will carry with them the lessons, the value, and the love that you all have instilled in them. Your continued support will remain a vital source of strength as they face new challenges and as they face new opportunities. So on behalf of the Navy and the entire Supply Corps community, thank you all for being the bedrock of resilience and inspiration that these outstanding officers needed and will need in the future. This day belongs to you as much as it does to them. And together, we all look forward to the incredible journey they all want to begin on. Admiral Nimitz once said, "God grant me the courage not to give up what I think is right, even though I may think it's hopeless." There will be days when it feels hopeless. Budgets will tighten, bureaucracy will bite. The inbox will outnumber your hours, but you're Supply Corps officers. You don't give up. You adapt, you improvise, and you sustain. For the Marines in the crowd that did not steal that from you. The Navy you are inheriting is more complex, it's more joint, and it's more contested than ever before. But it's also full of extraordinary people, people like you who will carry this mission forward long after officers like me have gone ashore for the last time. So I leave you with one final charge. Be bold, be relentless, be ready, be worthy of the sailors who depend on you. So congratulations, shipmates. You are the professionals who will keep the fleet in the fight. Thank you.
At every graduation, we take time to recognize those individuals who distinguish themselves with extraordinary effort throughout their time at the Navy Supply Corps School. Please hold your applause until all awardees have been recognized. Ensign Jason Ding, please come forward. Ensign Ding, reporting to USS Gridley DDG 101 in Everett, Washington, is a recipient of the Supply Management Excellence Award. This award is presented for the highest grade in the supply management course. Ensign Ding, thank you. Ensign Jeffrey DeRoche, please come forward. Ensign DeRoche, reporting to the USS Chief MCM-14 in Sasebo, Japan, is the recipient of the Navy Exchange Service Command Ship Store Award. This award is given for the highest grade in the retail operation course. Ensign DeRoche, thank you. Ensign Jason Ding, please come forward. Ensign Ding is the recipient of the Scott Spencer Food Service Excellent Award. This award is given for the highest grade in the food service course. Ensign Ding, thank you. Ensign John Hunter, please come forward. Ensign Hunter reports the USS Macon Island LHD-8 in San Diego, California, is the recipient of the Foundation Excellence Award. This award is presented for the highest grade in the Leadership Management course. Ensign Hunter, thank you. Ensign Fred Kojo Sanu, please come forward. Ensign Kojo Sanu, reporting to the Naval Mobile Construction Battalion 5 in Port Hueneme, California, is the recipient of the Defense Finance and Accounting Service Excellent Award. This award is presented for the highest grade in the Dispersing Management course. Ensign Kojo Sanu is also the recipient of the Navy League Honor, Courage, and Commitment Award. Commander retired Walter Wazinski, on behalf of the Newport Navy League, will now present the Navy League Honor, Courage, and Commitment Award. This award is presented to the student officer chosen by the staff who best demonstrates the Navy core values. Ensign Kojo Sanu, thank you. Mr. Robert Wineg will now present the Military Officers Association of America Professionalism Award. This award is presented to the student officer chosen by the staff who best demonstrates the enduring values of true patriotism, strong moral ethics, and a commitment for achieving outstanding accomplishments. Lieutenant Brian Castro Caceres, please come forward. Lieutenant Brian Castro Caceres, reporting to the USS Lake Erie CG-70 in San Diego, California, is the recipient of the Military Officers Association of America Professionalism Award.
He was also promoted to lieutenant this morning.
Lieutenant Castro Caceres, thank you. Captain Retired John Steen, on behalf of the Navy Supply Corps Foundation, will now present the Leadership Awards. These awards are presented to the Supply Corps officers chosen by the staff who have demonstrated unmatched servant leadership while being an exemplary leader within the classroom and the community.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. I actually have a few words to say. It's not as easy as just coming up and getting a plaque and going back. So, very quickly, again, thank you, Captain, Admiral, ma'am, for having me here today. And congratulations to all of you. This is a significant, significant achievement. You've worked very hard to get here and join the proud legacy of the Supply Corps. You are stepping into a role that is critical to the success of the Navy in defending our nation. I do want to take a moment to talk about the foundation and what it provides our community. Some of you might not be familiar, especially the guests we have here today. First of all, we're a nonprofit, philanthropic, and social organization. Our mission is to provide programs and services to support our community and promote its heritage and traditions. Every person who has ever served as a Supply Corps officer, worn the oak leaf, is automatically a lifetime member. So whether you're graduating today, served for 4 or 40 years, you are a member. For over 50 years, the foundation has been in place, fostering the history, tradition, and growth of the Supply Corps community. We do this through scholarships for families, career transition programs, mentorship, family assistance, if you ever need it, hopefully you won't, and connections to a global network of Supply Corps professionals. There are 38 chapters around the world, and we offer camaraderie, community, engagement, professional and social networking. Supply Corps community consists of approximately 4,300 active duty and reserve officers and over 30,000 retirees and veterans. So, we exist to ensure that today's graduates have the resources and support to succeed in the Navy and after the Navy. So, additionally, the foundation sponsors 2 leadership awards given to each graduating class. And the recipients for this class are from Gulf Company, Ensign Tim Groves, and from Hotel Company, Ensign Locke Lay. So congratulations to you as recipients. Those are well-deserved awards. A couple of other things. As of now, about 30% of the graduating class has registered with the foundation. I ask that before you depart the schoolhouse, there are QR codes floating around. Just go ahead and register. You might never need us, but we're always going to be there. The other thing I'd like to say is, and this is from me personally, you all have the ability to be an incredible impact to the morale of your crew. And so remember that when you go to work every day. Crew morale is very important, and you can drive that. So thank you for letting me make these remarks. They were short and hopefully painless. And on behalf of the Board of Directors and the Supply Corps Foundations, congratulations to all of you for being ready for sea.
Ensign Timothy Groves, please come forward. Ensign Groves, reporting to the USS Essex LHD-2 in San Diego, California, is Gulf Company's recipient of the Navy Supply Corps Foundation Leadership Award.
Ensign Groves is a brand new dad.
Ensign Groves, thank you. Ensign Locke Lay, please come forward. Ensign Lay, reporting to USS Howard in Yokosuka, Japan, is Hotels Company's recipient of the Navy Supply Corps Foundation Leadership Award. Ensign Lay, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we now invite Mr. Charles Mitchell of the National Industry for the Blind to award the BQC Honor Graduates. The honor graduates demonstrated excellence in the classroom across all curricula, achieving the highest overall academic average.
Captain Jenkins, Commander Flynn, LSC Diaz, distinguished guests, and the men and women of this graduating class. I'm grateful to have this opportunity to speak with you today, and it's an honor to participate in this ceremony representing the National Industries for the Blind as part of the Ability One program. To all of the graduates, congratulations on your achievement, and to the family, friends, and fellow servicemen and women of this graduating class, you must be very proud of your graduates here today. At National Industries for the Blind, our mission is simple and singular: to enhance the personal and economic independence of people who are blind, primarily through creating, sustaining, and improving employment opportunities. And the Navy and the Department of Defense play a critical role in helping us fulfill that mission. Our mission was launched in 1938, just after the Great Depression, when President Roosevelt signed into law the predecessor of today's Javits-Wagner-O'Day Act, which created what we now know as the U.S. Ability One program, a program that affords every American the opportunity for full workforce participation regardless of their perceived abilities. Under the Ability One program, the United States Ability One Commission, the federal government agency responsible for overseeing the program, maintains a federal procurement list of mandatory source products and services provided by people who are blind and have other significant disabilities to customers across the Department of Defense and all other federal government agencies. And in our role at National Industries for the Blind as a central nonprofit agency, or CNA, we help to facilitate and implement the Ability One program through a network of nearly 100 associated nonprofit agencies for the blind across the country that collectively employ more than 5,000 people who are blind, including many veterans, forming the nation's largest employer of people who are blind. A recent study found that every taxpayer dollar spent on Ability One products and services returns $2.66 back to the federal government. That's because whenever you buy Ability One, you not only receive a high-quality product or service, but you help Americans who are blind or have other significant disabilities gain employment, become taxpayers, and reduce or eliminate their dependence on other federal government assistance programs. We often hear from employees in the program that they are tremendously proud to become taxpayers and not merely tax takers. And speaking from my own personal experience, the value of the dignity and independence that come with employment cannot be overstated. In the summer of 2013, I was newly married and I had just completed my first year of law school when I was diagnosed with retinitis pigmentosa, a genetic eye disease that I learned would cause me to progressively lose my vision. By 2019, I was legally blind and I was forced to take a medical leave from the law firm where I was working at the time to attend full-time vision rehabilitation training. And by 2021, as my vision continued to decline, I was unsure if I would be able to remain in the workforce at all, and I was questioning how I could support my wife and my young children going forward. But fortunately, that's not the end of the story. Thanks in large part to my good friend, my teammate, and my NIB colleague, Doug Goist, who I met through the sport of blind hockey. And yes, I did say blind hockey. So I, despite my initial skepticism, I tried blind hockey for the first time in 2018, and I quickly discovered that it's the same sport that I had always known, loved, and played before losing my vision, with just a few minor adaptations. I started playing on our local team in Washington, D.C., and eventually I had the opportunity and the privilege to represent our country as a member of the United States blind hockey team. In the process, I met Doug Goist, who, in addition to being hands down the best blind hockey goalie in the entire world, has also been a proud employee of National Industries for the Blind for almost 2 decades. Doug encouraged me to join NIB's team, and I did so in 2022. I now serve as Assistant General Counsel, where I have the privilege of working every day to further NIB's mission in the hopes that other people who are blind may enjoy the tremendous personal and economic independence and dignity that my career at NIB affords me and my family. And that brings me back to the reason we're all here today, because the success of our work at NIB is tied to each of you who are graduating today. NIB has a long-standing relationship with the Navy, and specifically with the Supply Corps, because it's all of you that will have the opportunity to support the Ability One program and create jobs for people who are blind. We fulfill our mission by providing essential supplies and services that you need to fulfill yours. In fact, the Navy accounts for more than 15% of the total sales in the Ability One program, creating thousands of jobs for Americans who are blind or have other significant disabilities every single year. Many of you may know us by our Skillcraft brand, and in particular by our famous Skillcraft government pens. But the employees who are blind, their work goes a long ways beyond just pens. We sew many of your uniforms, we assemble shipboard fire hoses, We close out tens of thousands of government contracts. We staff call centers. We manufacture Navy mattresses. And we even compress the toilet paper used on board many of your ships. So, several years ago, to recognize the long-standing partnership and teamwork between the Navy and NIB, we began presenting a commissioned officer's sword to each class's honored graduate. This award is intended not only to recognize the personal excellence and achievement of the honor graduate, but also to inspire that individual and the entire graduating class to continue making a difference in the lives of people who are blind throughout your Navy Supply Corps careers by supporting the Ability One program. So, without further delay, it is now time to recognize our honor graduates today. First, for the basic qualification course, Navy Reserves, 108th Company, I am pleased to congratulate Lieutenant Junior Grade Alexandra Pena on achieving the award of honor graduate. Alexandra, please join us on stage.
Lieutenant J.G. Pena will be reporting to the Aviation Operations Support Squadron 2 in Washington, D.C.
It's an honor to award your sword on behalf of National Institute of Blind. Congratulations on your award.
Lieutenant J.G. Pena will now provide remarks on behalf of the BQC Navy Reserve.
Good morning, distinguished guests, instructors, family and friends, and my fellow Supply Corps officers. I am extremely honored to stand before you here today as the honor graduate of the 108th Company, representing the BQC Reserve component. The last 18 months have been far more than a professional milestone. This time has shaped us, challenged us, and connected us. The camaraderie and friendships we have built have been invaluable both professionally and personally. I am inspired by each of you and the impressive professionals that you are in your civilian careers, leaders in your field long before the Navy called your name, your finance experts, public servants, parents of 3 to 4 kids, or your new parents winning 5Ks pregnant, getting new jobs and buying new homes. But what inspires me even more is the decision that you've made to raise your right hand and serve as a Supply Corps officer in the Navy. That commitment, given freely on top of the busy lives and demanding careers, speaks to a rare kind of dedication and selflessness. And as we all know, it's far more than just one weekend a month. As reservists, we serve a unique role. We bring the depth of our civilian expertise to the fleet, and in return, we better understand military leadership and warfighting readiness from our active counterparts. My hope is that we continue to share what we know openly and humbly, and remain just as open to learning from those who wear the uniform every day. Like the overachievers we are, I know we're eager to join our new units, ready to make a difference. But today, this graduation marks the end of our chapter together, and for that, I am truly sad. I will miss the unspoken competition of seeing who arrives first to the classroom each day, the Carlos House of Pain group workouts in the evenings, the bonding we found in studying for those stressful tests while also handling work calls and busy civilian lives. And don't worry, Derek, those SM tests are over, so no more throwing pencils in frustration. The most of all, I will miss the class dinners we had catching up on family and life beyond the Navy. Before I close, I have a few thank yous. Firstly, to my husband. The last 2.5 years have been a whirlwind of balancing work, family, school, and now service. And you've been my rock through it all. To my parents and sister, thank you for always believing in me and for giving me every opportunity to make them proud. I also really appreciate the surprise visit up here for this event. And to my stepkids, thank you for reminding me every day that being a good example is both a responsibility and a privilege. To my classmates, I look forward to crossing paths with you again, whether on mobilization somewhere unexpected in the fleet or at all calls 10 years from now. I look forward to hearing how far each of you have gone in your careers and the impacts I know you will make. Congratulations to the 108th Company. It has been both an honor to serve with you and learn beside you. Thank you.
Lieutenant Daisy Pena, thank you.
Okay, and now for the basic qualification course, 4th Battalion, I am very pleased to congratulate Ensign Jason Ding on achieving the Award of Honor Graduate.
Ensign Jason Ding will now provide remarks on behalf of the BQC graduates.
Good morning, all. For the next few hours, I'm going to be talking about Navy cash. But on a more serious note, I'll start by being honest. I don't like public speaking. When the dean first told me I had to give this speech, my first thought was, if it was too late to go back and fail a test, so that someone else would have to come up here and do this instead. But that discomfort, in a way, reflects some of the most important things I've learned here. That growth comes from stepping outside your comfort zone, and that some of the most valuable lessons are not going to be found in a syllabus. I've always been comfortable with schoolwork. I've always been good at it. But that's not the only thing that matters. There will be challenges out there that require other skills. Skills that can't be taught in a schoolhouse. Skills that I still need to work on. Which brings me to my other big takeaway, which is how much I've learned from the people in this room. This class is full of different strengths, backgrounds, and ways of thinking, and that has shaped my time here as much as anything in the curriculum. And I hope I'm not the only one that feels that way, because as you look around this room, the peers you see here are the people you'll run into again in the fleet, the people that will grow and promote with, and the people who will go on to shape the supply community. So, on that note, if anyone from this class ever needs help in the future, say with navigating publications, figuring out how to audit a form, I'll be changing my number, so please don't talk to me. If anyone has any questions, you should ask Ensign DeRoche. I'm sure he'd be happy to help you. Right. But truly, thank you all. It's an honor to be here, and I'll miss this place and the people who make it what it is. Thank you.
Ensign Dean, thank you. Please join me in a round of applause for all our awardees. We will now award BQC graduate certificates. Please hold your applause until all students have been recognized. Ensign Eric Alexander, USS America, LHA 6 in San Diego, California. Ensign Lawrence Before, USS Bainbridge, DDG 96 in Norfolk, Virginia. Ensign Julian Davis, USS Boxer, LHD 4 in San Diego, California. Ensign Jeffrey DeRoche, USS Chief, MCM 14 in Sasebo, Japan. Ensign Anthony DeSantis, USS Essex, LHD 2 in San Diego, California. Ensign Jason Ding, USS Gridley, DDG 101 in Everett, Washington. Ensign Paul Matthew Elstad, USS Comstock, LSD 45 in San Diego, California. Ensign J. Mar Faulkner, USS Nimitz, CVN 68 in Bremerton, Washington.
Second row feet. Left face. Forward march.
Ensign Grace Flinch, USS Delaware, SSN 791 in Groton, Connecticut. Ensign Madison Fox, USS Green Bay, LPD 20 in San Diego, California. Lieutenant J.G. Valerie Guilfoy, USS Carl Vinson, CVN 70 in San Diego, California. Ensign Derek Green, USS Mesa Verde, LPD 19 in Norfolk, Virginia. Ensign Jasmine Green, USS Stockdale, DDG 106 in San Diego, California. Ensign Timothy Groves, USS Essex, LHD 2 in San Diego, California. Ensign John Hunter, USS Macon Island, LHD 8 in San Diego, California. Ensign David K., USS Arlington, LPD 24 in Norfolk, Virginia. Ensign Michael Kelly, USS Robert Small, CG 62 in Yokosuka, Japan. Ensign Freddie Kojo Sanu, Naval Mobile Construction Battalion 5 in Port Hueneme, California. Ensign Jason Latimer, USS Wasp, LHD 1 in Norfolk, Virginia. Ensign Russell Licata, USS Cole, DDG 67 in Norfolk, Virginia. Ensign Guy Lyons, Naval Special Warfare Group 8, Little Creek, Virginia. Ensign Boyel Malagaroso, Navy Supply Corps School, Newport, Rhode Island.
Row 3, feet. Left face. Forward march.
Lieutenant Tanner Matthews, Maritime Security Squadron 5 in San Diego, California. Ensign Patricia Ann Minerva, USS Pearl Harbor, LSD 52 in San Diego, California. Ensign Emily Rodriguez, USS Macon Island, LHD 8 in San Diego, California. Ensign Christopher Salas, USS Donald Cook, DDG 75 in Mayport, Florida. Ensign Megan Schmidt, USS Maine Blue, SSBN 741 in Bangor, Washington. Ensign Jennifer Skogerbo, USS Nimitz, CVN 68 in Bremerton, Washington. Ensign Brett Sinkson, USS Alaska Blue, SSBN 732 in Kings Bay, Georgia. Lieutenant Samuel Strobach, USS Essex LHD 2 in San Diego, California. Ensign Delmar Temple, USS Henry M. Jackson Gold, SSBN 730 in Bangor, Washington. Ensign Emily Thompson, USS Oklahoma, PCU SSN 802 in Newport News, Virginia. Lieutenant Nicholas Valdez, Maritime Operations Center, 4th Fleet in Mayport, Florida. Ensign Maria Cano, USS Lake Erie, CG-70 in San Diego, California. Lieutenant Brian Castro Caceres, USS Lake Erie, CG-70 in San Diego, California. Ensign Dante DePecco, Navy Cargo Handling Battalion 1 in Williamsburg, Virginia. Ensign Jacob Eagle Bull Oxidine, USS George H. W. Bush, CVN 77 in Norfolk, Virginia.
Fourth row, feet. Left face. Forward march.
Ensign Ismail Figueroa, USS John F. Kennedy, PCU CVN 79 in Newport News, Virginia. Ensign Brianna Fouché, USS Mahan, DDG 72 in Norfolk, Virginia. Ensign Jessica G., USS Carney, DDG 64 in Mayport, Florida. Ensign Matthew Gordon, USS Boise, SSN 764 in Norfolk, Virginia. Ensign Thurman Guy, USS John C. Stennis, CVN 74 in Norfolk, Virginia. Lieutenant J.G. Tyler Helmick, USS Essex, LHD 2 in San Diego, California. Ensign Sean Henderson, USS Harry S. Truman, CVN 75 in Norfolk, Virginia. Ensign Nia Herrera, USS The Sullivans, DDG 68 in Mayport, Florida. Ensign Rod Hill, USS John F. Kennedy, PCU CVN 79 in Newport News, Virginia. Ensign Tyrone Hewitt, USS San Antonio, LPD 17 in Norfolk, Virginia. Ensign Saul Key Kim, USS Nimitz, CVN 68 in Bremerton, Washington. Ensign Locke Lay, USS Howard, DDG 83 in Yokosuka, Japan. Ensign Elizabeth Littlewood, Commander Prepositioning Squadron 2 in Diego Garcia.
Fifth row, feet. Left face. Forward, march.
Ensign Jacob Madariaga, USS Porter, DDG 78 in Norfolk, Virginia. Ensign Jared Meyer, USS Bougainville, LHA 8 in Norfolk, Virginia. Ensign Jonathan Mooney, USS Nitsa, DDG 94 in Norfolk, Virginia. Ensign Fantasia Morgan, Navy Cargo Handling Battalion 1 in Williamsburg, Virginia. Ensign Travis Nunley, USS North Dakota, SSN 784 in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Ensign Kelsey Paz, USS Theodore Roosevelt, CVN 71 in San Diego, California. Lieutenant J.G. Hank Pleckham, USS John F. Kennedy, PCU CVN 79 in Newport News, Virginia. Ensign Philip Powell, USS Richard M. McCool, LPD 29 in Norfolk, Virginia. Lieutenant Joshua Sappington, Defense Logistics Agency Distribution Center in San Diego, California. Lieutenant J.G. Michael Schubert, Naval Construction Battalion 22 in Port Hueneme, California. Ensign Nicholas Sprague, USS Lena S. Higbee, DDG 123 in San Diego, California. Ensign Samuel Swift, USS Bougainville, LHA 8 in Norfolk, Virginia. Ensign Joshua Tanzuwako, USS Baton, LHD 5 in Norfolk, Virginia. Lieutenant Timothy Uchida, Maritime Security Squadron 11 in Seal Beach, California.
Last row, feet. Left face. Forward march.
Ensign Emily Vigneault, USS South Dakota, SSN 790 in Groton, Connecticut. Lieutenant J.G. Carlos Encarnacion, NAVSUP Fleet Logistics Center, Rhode in San Antonio, Texas. Lieutenant J.G. Jonathan Foss, Navy Surface Group Southwest, San Diego, California. Lieutenant J.G. Taylor Lambert, Aviation Operations Support Squadron 2 in Washington, D.C. Lieutenant Christopher Malenfant, Commander 5th Fleet N4, Tampa, Florida. Lieutenant J.G. Derek Nicholson, NAVSUP Fleet Logistics Center, Yokosuka in El Paso, Texas. Lieutenant J.G. Jose Potlan, Aviation Operations Support Squadron 5 in Fort Worth, Texas. Lieutenant J.G. Alexandra Pena, Aviation Operations Support Squadron 2 in Washington, D.C. Lieutenant J.G. Annette Petolsky, Commander 5th Fleet N4 in Tampa, Florida. Lieutenant J.G. Romello Regis, Commander 2nd Fleet N4 in Norfolk, Virginia. Lieutenant J.G. Ryan Russell, Commander, Pacific Fleet N4 Task Force Logistics in North Island, California. Lieutenant J.G. Pierre Sesh, Aviation Operations Support Squadron 4 in Fort Dix, New Jersey. Lieutenant J.G. Matthew Slater, USS Forces Korea in Newport, Rhode Island. Lieutenant J.G. Ria Tardu, Aviation Operations Support Squadron 4 in Fort Dix, New Jersey. Lieutenant J.G. Estefania Villavicencio, 5th Navy Expeditionary Logistics Regiment in Port Hueneme, California. A round of applause for all our graduates. Ladies and gentlemen, the commanding officer of Navy Supply Corps School.
All right, thank you again, everyone. Another round of applause for our graduates, if you don't mind. And I would like to thank, and I think she had to leave, I failed to mention her, the Seaman Ramirez, who sung our national anthem this morning. She did a tremendous job. And once I get a chance to personally thank her, I'll thank her for that. 4th Battalion, Basic Qualification Course, and 108th Company, Basic Qualification Course, Naval Reserve, congratulations again. You have all worked hard, and you deserve the recognition that you've received today and the wisdom from Vice Admiral English. So thank you very much for the last 6 months and the last year plus of our time together. It's truly been an honor to serve alongside you here, and we will see you in the fleet. So at this time, if you wouldn't mind rising on your feet, it is now time to officially certify 4th Battalion Basic Qualification Course and Basic Qualification Course Naval Reserve 108th Company is certified ready for sea. Go Navy!
Will the guests please rise for the benediction and the departure of the official party? Military, cover 2. Chaplain 4 will now offer the benediction.
Receive the benediction. Let us pray. God of grace, God of providence, the anchor of all who trust in you, and the refuge of those who lean upon your faithfulness, embolden us now with unshakable conviction and enduring calm as we send these proven naval professionals into the crucible of global operations, where their expertise will determine the trajectory of maritime superiority. They who have demonstrated themselves stewards of the legacy transmitted through generations of supply mastery and operational readiness, work mightily in us and through this institution now and across all the years ahead. May their decisions be audacious, their command kindle brilliance, and their influence reverberate through every keel, every ready room, and every expeditionary outpost where America's Navy maintains our watch and safeguards our freedoms, from horizon to horizon, ready to deliver. And lastly, God, bless their loved ones and every future reunion for their love, faithfulness, and sacrifice. Amen.
Post the side boys. Vice Admiral, United States Navy, departing. Navy Supply Corps School, departing. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes this morning graduation ceremony. Graduates dismissed.
No, you're not even.
That's a lot of talking.
That's a lot of talking. You're talking a lot already, anyways. It's another day, another Tuesday for you.
You
got through that last one. You were like,
yeah, I can't
unplug this so he can fucking run his mouth. So I can start cussing again. Like, oh, you're having short withdrawals.
Good job. Look, I don't know why anybody would ever want to do it.
He's in the program. Oh, really? Yeah. Congratulations.
Good luck, man.
Congratulations. So that's healthy now, right? You got some sunship and shit? Nothing changed. The other top teams what one? Thank you, appreciate it. You were easy. Try to make it as easy as possible. You'll do good when you get out there.
I'm ET now. Do I need to text in on
Sir?
Okay. Been real?
Take care.
I'll be back inside.
I know. I'll see you at the week.
He's coming into your office?
No. So, whether that's how long are you here for?
Just a week. I'm taking leave.
Are you having household goods and everything?